From Tampa and MRAA Dealer Week, I'm Alan Wendt. Amy Mauzy is with us, Centurion Boats. And when we think about towboats, you guys really invented this system 2-3 decades ago.
Well, for wake surfing, yes, and it wasn't just one system. It actually started with one boat that ironically was intended to be a wakeboard boat, but once they got it out there, did the testing on it, it had a deep V, and that was pretty unique at the time for a towboat. Most boats were flat bottom boats at that point, but they got it out there, and luckily one of the engineers that worked at Centurion at the time decided he was all about surfing, ocean surfing. And he decided he wanted to surf behind the boat. The rest of the engineers that were working on the design, Rick Lee, the founder of Centurion included, was like, okay, you can do that at the end when we're all done testing. And once he did get the opportunity to surf behind the boat and the other engineers are inside the boat, they all kind of collectively had an aha moment. And they're like, wait, this guy is surfing. He's closer to the back of the boat, so they can kind of still interact. The people in the boat and the surfer can hear the music. It's definitely more communal. And he just continued to surf. It was an endless wave at that point, which was a concept that nobody had really thought about at the time, because you always had to go to the beach to get that kind, and it was never an endless wave. You know, it took a little bit to catch one, and you're not on it for all that long in most cases. But that's what it started it all in 1995.
Certainly he and the rest of your team understand the concept of recalibration on the engineering technical side. But on the marketing side, where you are, recalibration happens to be the theme of this year's conference. And we've been told and perhaps pushed a little bit this week to say it's not going to be in this coming year about the transaction as much as about the experience. I can't think of another type of boating that has more experience than being towed behind a boat or surfing behind a boat.
Absolutely.
And your customers really are deep into this experiential market.
They are, and it's been that way really since the beginning. The unique thing about wake surfing is this industry, or this segment of the industry, was developed by Centurion. There was never a product that allowed you to do this particular water sport before that. What it did was it created not only a new product to offer to customers, it created an entire community. And at first, it was probably more of a niche thing.
Right.
But as it's gained popularity, because it's so communal and it's so low barrier to entry, it's welcoming for everybody. I mean, you can be 85 years old and doing it as a grandparent. You can be 6 years old or 5 years old in some cases and doing it as a child. And we even have competitors at those age levels at the World Series of Wake Surfing competitions that we do. And it's not an individual sport. Now, and hear me out on this. I know it's only one person surfing typically, but really it's about the community that you're with, the group that you're with, and even if you're competing against others, they're encouraging one another. Oh my gosh, you just hit that 360 or that trick, and they're happy for one another. They want to go out and try the next great thing, whatever it happens to be behind the boat. And it's this camaraderie that honestly I've not seen at another type of competition, let alone a water sports competition. And that's created this community of wake surfers. And of course they want to consume the product, wake surf boats, you know, and all the things that go along with them, boards and everything else. But really it's all about that experience for them.
And as dealers look to create experiences for their own locale, their own dealership, the company helps fund some of these events. It would be fair to say that this is far more than a soccer mom on steroids in terms of passionate about their sport. Tell me about some of the extreme results that you see of people traveling the country and really getting deep in community?
Well, we have people that come from all over the world. So, and we've got individuals in the United States that will take their family, whether it's their children competing or their children and themselves competing, they'll go all over the United States and all over the world. We have a large contingent from Japan, a lot of our riders. It's amazing, and they'll come to a lot of our domestic events, as well as we had 2 events in Japan this past year. We're going to have 4 in the coming year, but we've got events all over the world, be it Switzerland, France, we've got them, you name it, and people will travel because in a lot of cases, at least in the United States, if they're in the northern part of the United States and their season's so short, when it gets to the fall months or even the spring months, they'll travel to the lower states to these competitions so that they can continue to ride and progress. The ultimate goal is they all want to be invited to the Centurion World Series of Wake Surfing's pinnacle event, which is the World Championship.
Advice that you might offer for dealers that are considering taking on another brand or just even improving their own business model in terms of creating a passionate customer, a passionate end user?
Absolutely. I think we've hit it on the head really with what this particular event, MRAA, the Recalibrate, is about, is that experience. Really, people are going to continue to buy your product if they can relate with it, if it makes their lives better on a regular basis, them and their family. And I think the only way you can do that is through an experience-based approach. And it's not just about getting the deposit for the boat and building it for them, delivering it, and there you go. It needs to be a continual process. And you've got to go back with that customer too, because their wants and needs are also going to change. But you've got to have a connection with them on a regular basis to understand what that experience should be. And that's what I would encourage. I mean, that's what we do with our events, and we empower our dealers to do as well, is to continue that relationship that's way beyond the sale, because that's going to get you the next sale and the sale after that.
And sometimes that next sale isn't about a boat that's 2 feet bigger.
Absolutely.
You've got one that's coming out on the market this year that's 22 feet.
Correct. Yeah, we introduced our FE22 this year, and really that's a great boat to get someone that maybe owns a 2018 Centurion into a Centurion again, because we've obviously gone up in price in a lot of cases. A lot of our goods are way more expensive than they've ever been. However, we still want to get those brand enthusiasts that have been with us for so many years and all about Centurion wake boats. We want to get them into a Centurion, a newer Centurion again. And that's what that FE22 is going to allow us to do.
Amy, great visiting with you, and continued success with Centurion.
Thank you so much.
Make sure to check out our YouTube channel for the full Dealer Week experience.